In this video, I'll explain why you should not train Tier 2 skirmishers, Tier 2 infantry. There's a lot of videos out there saying you should train Tier 2 skirmishers to help defend your castle. You should train a lot of them, like hundreds of thousands of them, millions of them. And that's honestly not a good choice. If you do that, you'll lose. Like, yeah, you might win some battles, but there's battles that you'll take where you'll lose a lot of troops for no reason that could have been avoided. As you can see, the skirmishers Tier 2 have 4 health and 5 defense. Now Tier 10s have 14 health and 16 defense. So about 3 times the health, 3 times the defense. But you have to keep in mind, that's not additive. It's not like 14 plus 16 equals 30. Then you take the infantry and say 4 plus 5 equals 9. It doesn't work that way. It multiplies. Each health point has that 16 defense. Whereas if you're doing Tier 2 infantry, each health point would only have 5 defense. It multiplies. So Tier 10s obviously survive longer in fights. So do Tier 4s and Tier 6s and Tier 8s. I think people started saying to train only Tier 2 infantry because it's the first infantry that dies. But you have to keep in mind that there's no Tier 2s to die. It just makes Tier 4s die. If there's no Tier 4s to die, it makes Tier 6s die. So you want to have the highest tier even infantry you can get, and not Tier 2s. Because let's say, for example, you have 1 million Tier 2s in your army. What's going to wind up happening is that someone much stronger than you is going to attack you. And they're going to wipe out all of your infantry. Million Tier 2 is gone. They're going to fill up your sanctum. So let's say you take an attack and you lose like 900,000 Tier 2 infantry. So your sanctum, depending on your stronghold level, will be pretty close to being full with only Tier 2 infantry. Then they attack you a second time, but this time your infantry's running low, let's say. So they kill off all your other troops super easy, and they kill off like 1 million other troops. All the troops that go over the sanctum capacity are lost forever. So in fact, by training Tier 2 infantry only, you're just making yourself lose troops unnecessarily for no reason. Then you might wind up only having Tier 2 infantry left over. All your good troops will wind up dying. Like if you have Tier 10s, Tier 9s, and Tier 8s, kiss them all goodbye. You also have Tier 2s left over. So what you want to do is train the highest possible tier of even infantry you have. So for example, I have 1.4 million Tier 10s. I've been attacked by a stronghold 43 players. I've only lost like 400,000 infantry in a pop. But if I had Tier 2s instead of Tier 10s, I'd probably lose millions of troops. In which case my sanctum would overload. And if they attacked me twice back to back, in the second attack I'd lose everything. So I'd lose all my higher tiers, which is not good. So yeah, Tier 2s are cheap, but then if you only train Tier 2s, you might wind up with only having Tier 2s left over for sanctum, because everything else will wind up dying off if you get attacked multiple times. The Tier 2s will fill up your sanctum. You get attacked a second time or third time, your sanctum's full, so you lose all the higher tiers. So in the end, just train the highest possible even tier you can. Now why even tiers? You want to train even tiers because they have increased defense against archers. Most players send primarily archers because they do the most damage. Your odd tier infantry only have increased defense against light cavalry, which definitely is not as good as increased defense against archers.